Hi. So I have exciting news. I got a job. I got hired at this place called the Shake Shack. It's this place that sells hamburgers and hot dogs and milkshakes. And there are a bunch of them now. I think there are like 25 Shake Shacks. But in 2004, apparently, it started off just being like a hot dog stand in Madison Square Park. So, um, it's pretty cool. And I'll tell you about how that happened and tell you about my last 3 days given that. So on Tuesday, I interviewed at 9 a.m. for the Shake Shack. It was cool because they asked, like, so what do you know about the Shake Shack? And it happened that I had told two of my friends that I was interviewing there, and both of them had been like, no way, the Shake Shack? Like, what a great place. I love it. So I was able to talk about that. Thank goodness. I think in some ways it got me the job because otherwise I wouldn't have known anything about it. And so then on Tuesday, it's in Battery Park City, which is like near the southernmost tip of Manhattan. So the rest of Tuesday I spent exploring that part, which I hadn't been in yet. Which I went like, it's near the old World Trade Centers and or Ground Zero, and I like was able to. You could see where the Statue of Liberty is. You could see it and see like the boats that are going to it. And I walked like all the way up the other side to get to the Brooklyn Bridge. So it was nice. So then Wednesday, I ended up in the afternoon. I found out that I had gotten the job at the Shake Shack, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest. So that was cool. It was also great. So Wednesday, I had training for catering in the morning, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out balancing. I want to do some catering, even though I'm working at the Shake Shack. So hopefully I'll figure that out. But I was doing training. Training went well. I had to go get my uniform at this place that was really far into Brooklyn. So I somehow managed to get the most lost that I could have possibly gotten. It was really intense because I got off at the wrong stop because my phone gave me the wrong directions. And then being at that stop, I like walked around these neighborhoods for like a half hour, figured out what I was doing wrong, managed to get back to the train station. Then I got on the wrong train, or it was like it was an A train, but it was going to the wrong location, which I didn't even know there were different end locations. So instead of going like 4 stops east and getting off, it went like really far south, and I only realized I was on the wrong train once I started crossing over this not huge, this body of water. So I had to wait all the way across the water. I had to go all the way back. So like wait to switch trains, go all the way back, switch trains again, and then go east. It was a really big ordeal. But I think the fact that I had gotten this job and found out made me getting lost like way less overwhelming because I think if I hadn't, I would have been like, I'm lost in New York and I have no long-term plans. What am I doing? Like I think it would have been a reflection on just feeling unstable. But because I had gotten the job, it was like, okay, like I'm really, really lost right now, but I'm not lost in my general plans. Yeah, so that was, I think, saved my sanity a little bit that afternoon. The other thing that made it better to be lost was that I had gone to the AT&T store earlier that day to ask them questions about this new smartphone I told you about. And the guy, because I was complaining that the battery only lasts a day, because I think that's really short. But I know the phone's doing a lot and stuff. But the guy sold me this case that charges the battery when I want it to. So the battery runs out, and I can push this button and charge the battery with the case. And then when I plug it into the wall, the charger charges the phone and then the case. So like it is a fantastic situation. So in the like 2.5 hours that I was lost, I was able to still have phone battery because I had this case that could charge it. Pretty great. It was also great because I was able to keep communicating with my cousin who I got dinner with, even though the dinner was an hour late because I got lost. But I got to see her and her fiance, who I had not met yet, because it's been like 3.5 years since I've been on the East Coast. So I got to see them. I got to meet him, and it was really, really fantastic dinner. We ate Thai food at 101 and Broadway, and the place was really great. So that was my Wednesday. Then today I had training for the Shake Shack, and it was cool because the training reminded me a lot of the training that I'd had for the sock shop in Santa Cruz last summer, which the sock shop is like a family-owned business, and they care a lot about the well-being of their employees. And like in this training, it felt much that there were a lot of the same patterns or a lot of the same tenets that were being talked about, which was really cool for a chain, I think. This guy named Danny something, he like runs this whole network of restaurants, and he's the one who came up with this framework of really caring about the working team. So I really liked them. Like 80% of the training was about having a supportive relationship in the restaurant, and then like 20% of it was like scheduling and showing us the place. So like it felt very supportive, and I'm excited. And it's also, I feel like, so lucky to have the jobs that I've worked so far have all been like this, have all been really positive, like really involved in positive coworker relations, positive management styles, like, and the belief that all that stuff infiltrates into the guests, as they call them, the customers. So I feel like so lucky that, again, this is what I find. I also feel I'm like blown away that I've been here for 2.5 weeks and am now gonna have full-time work. Like, that is something that I cannot be thankful enough for, because like all I hear about is how people don't find jobs. And yeah, it's not like an academic job, but like it's still like huge. And I was expecting it to take a lot longer, which yeah, I'm just blown away and very thankful. But it's also interesting because so after the training today, I went and got like pants that I need for the uniform and stuff. And I was walking around doing that, and like I was really sad because in a lot of ways, so we got they do schedules week by week, but we got our schedules for this week, and I'm working 5 days a week basically, which, okay, so like it's twofold. One of the things is that I'm in the city, and I've just, for the last 2.5 weeks, I've gotten basically to just run my own schedule and do whatever I want whenever I want, which like it's giving up a lot of that freedom to be working this job, despite the fact that I'd much rather be working this job than not. But it's still like today I was just like holding that kind of like sadness of like not being able to have it all the ways that I want it to be. Yeah. So then the other thing that I think contributes to me feeling sad is that like there's never been a long-term situation where I've worked a kind of like 8-hour a day, 5-day a week job. Even though this is a 9 to 5, some of the shifts are like 5 p.m. to 1 a.m., things like that. But like it's still is like a wage job in a way that I've only really spent like one other month of my life working. Because usually the jobs are like camp counselor, like being an RA, and like, or like working in my karate studio, you know, very much about the community. And yeah. So I think part of it is like me adjusting. It's like so lucky that I can say like I've never had to sacrifice my time like this, because that means I've had 21 fantastic years so far. But now I'm sad because I have to learn that, and I realized that I knew that coming to New York would have a lot of challenges, and I knew that I didn't really know what any of those challenges were going to be because everything's so new. And I'm realizing that I think this is going to be one of the challenges of like figuring out how it feels to work a job that I have to clock in and out of every day. So yeah. So tomorrow I start work at 10 a.m. and I'll tell you how it goes. But I'm really excited for it, but part of today has been kind of like mourning what I'm leaving behind. Yeah, so I think that those are all the updates for now, and I'll give you another video soon. I hope you're doing well.